Sunny days sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Last year, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of walking down Sesame Street. Each of us has our favorite character, whether it's Big Bird or the Count, or maybe some of you still have your Tickle Me Elmo. Through the years, more characters have been added to the cast of Sesame Street. Oscar the Grouch, Grover, Cookie Monster, and the list goes on and on. One unique contribution of Sesame Street is that it entertains children while simultaneously tackling modern problems. Oscar the Grouch has taught young viewers about recycling, composting, and reusable materials. Julia, a puppet with autism, showcases how to better understand autistic playmates. A worrywart named Telly Monster displays methods for coping with anxiety and frustration. In 2019, an adorable lime green monster made her way down Sesame Street and into the hearts of viewers. Carly invites us into her foster home and into the world of foster care. Her foster parents, or her for now parents, begin to console Carly as she thinks she doesn't have a place at their table. But then she finds her placemat. We all want to have a place, but for over 1 million children in the United States, a stable place to call home is a foreign concept. According to Dr. Jeanette Betancourt, Senior Vice President of United States Social Impact at Sesame Workshop, by giving the adults in children's lives the tools they need, with help from the Sesame Street Muppets, we can help both grown-ups and children feel seen and heard, and give them a sense of hope for the future. Today, let's stroll down Sesame Street and learn that H is for history. Then let's walk a little further and learn what it's like to be a for now family. And finally, let's turn the corner and count the implications of participating in foster care. Early records of foster care are found in the Old Testament of the Bible, and even in the Talmud, where worthy widows were paid by their church's congregation to be the caretakers of homeless children. An English law passed in 1562 allowed foster care to continue developing. This law allowed poor children to be placed in indentured service until they became adults. In the American colony of Jamestown, Benjamin Eaton became America's first foster child. Now, let's fast forward 246 years from the founding of Jamestown to when Charles Loring Brace, a minister and director of the New York Children's Aid Society, initiated the first free foster home movement. Because of Brace and his movement, families in the South and in the West were encouraged to take foster children into their homes. Due to the placements made by the New York Children's Aid Society, state governments and other social agencies began to be more involved in the placement of foster children. In the early 1900s, state governments and other social agencies began to supervise as well as pay foster parents, and the government began to enforce state inspections of foster homes. So, why do foster parents need to be supervised? Take Mary Ellen Wilson, for instance. Mary Ellen was an American 8-year-old girl who was placed in foster care due to her father's death and her mother's financial situation. Since there were no laws protecting against child abuse during this time, Mary Ellen's foster mother regularly abused her. The poor child was burned, cut, beaten, forced into heavy labor, and at times even locked in a closet. Finally, the attorneys from the American Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals stepped up to the plate. They decided that the laws protecting animals from being abused shouldn't be better than the ones protecting children from being abused. Today, foster homes take in neglected children who have rough home situations. The main goal of foster homes is to provide a safe place for these kids to live until they can be returned to their biological parents or adopted by a family member or a foster family. The long road of foster care history brings us to what it's like to be a for now family. When I was 7 years old, I became a big sister to not one, not two, but to 3 little brothers. Brothers. Instead of rushing to a hospital, we rushed to a courtroom. And instead of doctors being present in the room, there was a judge and an assortment of family and friends. Instead of hearing, "It's a boy!" exclaimed, we heard, "Congratulations to the Moyer family." You may have guessed by now that my brothers aren't my biological brothers. Even though we officially adopted Dalton, Duncan, and Will in November of 2011, we had custody of them 2.5 years prior through the process known as foster care. Although I've never been a foster child myself, I grew up in a foster home. I've gotten to watch how things work in a foster home, learned some of the rules enforced by DSS and Miracle Hill, and I've even gotten to spend some time with some really sweet babies. According to Children's Rights, almost 437,000 children spend time in foster care on any given day. In 2018, nearly 690,000 kids spent time in United States foster care. Most of you probably use social media. And on your social media accounts, you probably post pictures of you with your family, friends, and pets. But imagine not being able to post pictures of someone you love most. Maybe this is why my mom still only posts pictures of our dog. But this is one restriction that comes along with foster care. Foster parents aren't allowed to post pictures of their foster children online anywhere. Another rule that comes along with foster care is that foster parents aren't allowed to discipline their foster children in any way they choose. This means no corporal punishment. So foster parents have to come up with other forms of punishment, such as writing sentences like, "I will not lie again," multiple times, or taking away a favorite toy for a certain period of time. In addition to following a myriad of rules, foster parents are required to get 18 credits every 2 years in order to continue fostering children. So they have to go to foster care classes. My parents had to go to all of these classes, and that meant that we kids were dragged along with them. The nice thing was that the classes took place at Pump It Up. So while my parents were learning how to be great foster parents, I was running around on an inflatable obstacle course somewhere. And while I was running around and bouncing all over the place, I didn't have to worry about suddenly being removed from the comfort of my home. The sad part about foster care is that so many kids are placed in homes temporarily and then removed from them. According to Boys and Girls Aid, a foster child can be moved from place to place more than 15 times, leaving a foster child with only a 50% chance of graduating from high school. This makes it harder for them to be ready for adult life. For us, the implications of participating in foster care were huge, resulting in the adoption of 3 little boys. It's rewarding to know that my parents took on the challenge of adopting my brothers. Now these boys have a much better chance of succeeding in life. Fostering a child requires a lot on the part of the family that takes in foster children. In South Carolina alone, there are currently over 4,600 children in need of for-now parents. However, there are only about 2,800 available foster families in the state. Fostering a child takes patience, resilience, and sacrifice. And we know that caring adults hold the power to buffer the effects of traumatic experiences on young children, explains Dr. Jeanette Betancourt. We want foster parents and providers to hear that what they do matters. They have the enormous job of building and rebuilding family structures and children's sense of safety. So what can we do to let foster parents know that what they are doing matters? One way we can help them is by providing respite care for them. In other words, give them a break. Support them by providing a meal or mowing the lawn. Both are very practical ways to reach out to foster families and help them avoid burnout. Another way to help is by donating to child welfare agencies, which are looking for items such as clothing, school supplies, and cash. Be an advocate for the foster care system by fighting for the rights of the children who need this system. Being a voice for foster care will keep the program alive. And finally, remember that we can all have a place at the table of the wonderful world of fostering to show that we care. As we celebrate 50 years of Sesame Street Learning, let's remember that foster care has a long history that continues into the future. The need for For now, parents, and a place for each of these special children does not go away. As we find our way to Sesame Street, let's remember that participating in foster care will bring a sunny day where everything will be A-OK.